Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Lowman02. We're going to do something a little different to start off the evening tonight. We're going to commentate on a game going on between Dawts and Michelle Wong, and then we'll jump into four separate games that we played earlier in the evening on recording. Currently, Dawts is on, I believe, the same deck he was playing us on last night when we were on Storm. It's a three-color deck, Grixis, kind of like mid-range to mid-range control deck. So it has threats like Gurmag Angler, Young Pyromancer. I would assume Delver-like cards, but the card Delver itself, I don't know if he runs or not. He's already played the new version of Tarmogoyf and/or Tassiger. Michelle has conducted or is banishing lighted it. We see at this point in time we have decent parity in cards between both opponents, with most notably for Michelle, all basics in play. I think at this point in time, so she's gonna V click him here. I think at this point, I know her deck runs back to basics, so I think she maybe she has it, maybe she doesn't. I like this play right here on end step. It's gonna force him to tap down. Now, if she has, I hope she has a significant threat in hand. My assumption is she does, and she's forcing him to go into a decision cycle on whether he wants to defend the important cards in his 5-card hand against her, arguably a superior hand as far as a count, versus playing against what she may have in hand. And I hope she taps out for something significant here. Okay, Supreme Verdict. I mean, I don't know, man. It's an uncounterable spell. I don't know if that's what you really wanted to do. I mean, maybe you hold on to the V click if he's not playing anything, and you just look to draw that threat, and then play V click at end step to force him to make the decision to tap out, or tap lower for counter magic, so that you're in a way protecting a more relevant spell. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a wasteland here, or he may wait just to generate mana inefficiency on her part, to utilize the wasteland to hit that celestial colonnade. My guess is he's probably going to start activating manlands here relatively soon. Probably not the Wandering Fumarole. It's just a lot more mana to do, and it's not easier to remove. They're both pretty easy to remove, but just a lot more mana to do. And it dies to a few more things, but not really in blue-white, which is the mana she's representing. My guess is she has a mana leak or miscalculation up. So we see a Gurmag come back. I have to reread Soul Manipulation does. Okay, so he chose both on this. He countered the Vendilion click and returned the Gurmag to his hand, replayed the Gurmag. Obviously a much inferior threat to, as opposed to a card like Tassiger, but it's still something that needs to be dealt with. I think on the Esper Pie, though, he can be pretty reasonably assured that she'll find a way to deal with it. She's debating something here. My guess would be whether she wants to make him tap out further. I don't know, though. We'll see. She definitely had to take care of young Pyromancer. I think she probably burned that Supreme Verdict too early, especially after he utilized his soul manipulation to get the Gurmag. Oh, we got a question. So, Hungry Flames. I don't know that card. But let's take a look at it real fast, and why not? We'll do a little bit of analysis. Hungry Flames. Hungry Flames. Radiant Flames. Hungry Flames. This may be a new card. 2 damage to target creature and 2 damage to target player. Too slow. Yeah, so that's a mid-range card. It's too slow in red deck wins, and here's why. Like, on turn 3, 4, you're going to be stopping what they cast on turn 2. It's a fine mid-range card, but Okay, so what happened here? We had a mystical teachings, and then a condescend on swords to plowshares. What is she mystical teachings for? She mystical teachings for swords to plowshares. So this one suggestion I give Michelle, like this Esper deck has done very well for her historically. She plays it very well, but I think she needs to go a little more unfair with it. I think I think Sung was right in her write up on the Christmas Extravaganza that she took first place in Wing 6-0 with an Esper deck that obviously there's a lot of overlap in the cards between her deck and Michelle's. A lot of Michelle's deck is pre-boarded, I would say. Like cards like Moat aren't per se great in all matchups. Like it doesn't do anything against the Storm deck that I'm running. Given that's not like something that she's probably commonly seen. I don't know, maybe someone else runs Storm, but I haven't seen it yet. Um, well, this would be the game if she can't do something about this, or have an answer to the Gurmag. Yeah, actually, it's just game regardless because he can activate also the Wandering Funeral and the Creeping Tar Pit. 4 cards in hand or 5 cards in hand. Yeah, it looks like she's been handily out tempoed. Well, I do note that I think if she'd ever drawn her back to basics, this game would have been over very rapidly. Yeah, so he doubles it up, which is kind of to be expected. And I like not activating the Creeping Tar Pit. It just leaves more mana open in case both of them are removed. He may have Burn or something like that. What do we have here? Oh, okay, cool. That's actually very cool. It's probably going to get countered unless she has Force of Will in hand. Would be my guess. If it doesn't, that's a beating. That's just a huge time beating. Um, yeah, Swords to Plowshares, the Silly Fumarole, and yeah, what do we have going on here? A counter? And actually, it's funny. I believe we traded. Oh, it's gonna get condescended for 1. Oh man, or is it counter squall? It's counter squall to target you. It's more specific, non-creature. Okay, so it's going to get condescended for 1. I hope she has a daze. Like a daze would just be stellar here. Daze would be would be like I don't know. I'd be pretty thrilled. Or a mental misstep could do it too. Because yeah, it's technically I believe a 1 mana spell. Okay, that's game then. I flips it. Game's there. Okay, so we'll wait while they sideboard. It's cool to see her playing Torrential Gearhulk. Actually, it's one of the cards that she and I talked about quite a bit when it first came out. And actually, the Gauntlet we're currently playing, we have like a sidebar kind of wager that whoever wins is going to end up giving the other person a Hulk. So it is definitely cool to see the promo art. So she gets beat to death here by the idiots or the clowns, if you will. Now, I think, when you look at this match, let's go back to like decision making. The use of Supreme Verdict, when and where she did, I think was flawed. I think it was very flawed. I think what she wanted to do, and it depends on draw too, because I don't really know her draw. But I mean, looking at how it played out, I think you want to go mystical teachings, and then draw something to draw something to either deal with the pyromancer, or to force Dot's hand to cast more onto the board, and then regain the tempo by casting the uncounterable Supreme Verdict. I think that's what I end up going for. I mean, yeah, she would have taken a beating that turn, but I mean, her life total. I mean, and Dot's does have some like mid-rangey type cards like Burst Lightning, which can go to the face for a decent bit of damage. We go to the face for like 5 mana for 4 damage. Not the best exchange rate, but I mean, it's fine. It's gonna be a lot easier for her to counter. And another thing you note on this board set right here, even though Dots is down on cards, he is whip on board. Not specifically like the board presence he's accrued, but specifically like the raw land count. When any control, when it's a control on control match and one player's up by 2 land drops, they tend to be winning. That's just how control mirrors, in my experience, generally play out. But I think, we go back to and I'm not saying the game could have been won, but like the biggest decision that I saw in this game were two. One, the Vendilion click. I didn't care for that play because typically if you're going to play Vendilion click end step, what you're allowing yourself to do is inform decisions on your next turn, but it requires you to have a significant enough threat that you're essentially protecting with the Vendilion click. The Vendilion click got countered regardless, which could have possibly meant that Dots had more counter magic in hand. But I think, if you're casting it that way, you need to at least leave yourself open the option to cast a large threat. that will force him to deal with, like, for instance, a Gideon or something like that, or an Elspeth, the new six-man Elspeth. But that decision plus the Supreme Verdict decision, I'm not a huge fan of. And then Mystical Teachings for Swords of Plowshares, I think it comes down to build. Like if you're Mystical Teachings, I feel like you want to be looking for something more game impacting, or game winning, ideally, than Swords of Plowshares. So game two, and I'm kind of hoping Michelle wins this one. I'd like to watch a relatively long game. Um, all right, we see Island Go. We'll probably see a couple of these for a few turns. My guess is both these decks play a little more draw go than some of the stuff. Well, I guess we played a decent amount of control too, but some of the stuff we've seen recently that we've thrown up on our channel. I'm not sure if I like Dark Slick Shores in a deck like Dawts. It's fine, but oof. Hopefully she has a counter for that. That's a beating in the Control V Control Mirror. So I don't think Grixis is good. All right, how do I put it? Like, I've had my own experiences with Grixis, which have not been good. I think of the decks I've run, the most horrible results I've gotten from that deck. It has a very difficult time beating red deck wins. It can do it, but it has a very difficult time doing it. I think where it shines though is in these Control V Control Mirrors. I think on like or opposed to other blue decks, it's pretty good. I think even against in the mirror, I think it's great, and then I think it's actually maybe slightly more favored than the Azorius or Esper Pie control decks versus like the Green Devotion or Mono Green decks that you sometimes see. All right, I hope she's using this to protect a threat. Otherwise, I'd rather see this on the draw step to disable the ability of dots to play spells or game impacting spells. Okay, so she has all her mana this turn, and I'm kind of hoping she's going to use it for something impactful. I don't know what that would be, per se. Maybe a Jace the Mind Sculptor. But yeah, uh-oh. Uh-oh. Missing the land drop is not good there. Not good at all. It makes me almost think that maybe she wanted to target herself with the V-click. More than likely, she has a very permission-heavy hand, and she's valuing that over making her land drops. I think that tends to be wrong. I think in this matchup, you want to be making your land drops because the Control V Control Mirror, really what it comes down to is it's all about mana advantage. So you're both going to be countering each other's game-winning spells or counter spells that counter your game-winning spells. And you need a lot of land to do that. And obviously you don't want that to happen after like turns 5 or 6. I think once you're on like 6 or 7 mana, like you're probably set pretty well. All right, what are we gonna draw? All right, recast the Vendilion Click. And I would not be shocked if she targets herself. My guess would be she'll target dots though, just kind of knowing her play style. Oh, okay, she does target herself. All right, we guessed right. Yeah, so she's going for lands. She's gonna ditch some 6 or 7 mana spell probably to the bottom. Let's see what she reveals. Yeah, Elsbeth. Yeah, that's almost the card exactly that was in my mind. So she filters that one off, finds her land. There you go, girl. And she's getting back on track. All right, Ponder, smooth on the draw some more. Good, good. My guess would be she puts a counter spell in her hand, puts lands on top, as she's already made her drop. However, now depending on what your hand is, I don't know if I like playing the land before pondering, unless you have a 3-mana counter spell and you really want to protect this because the rest of your hand's junk. So it's probably telling me she has a 3-mana counter spell. If I'm Dots, I'm thinking 3-mana counter spell at this point in time. Dots is likely to continue to make his land drops too. My guess would be we see a black-red or a blue-red land this next turn. Burn off the Vendilion Click. That's never why it was played, so that's kind of cool if it goes to the Vend Click. Sweet. That's good for her. I mean, that's where you want that burn to go. I mean, ideally, you don't want him to do it at all, but I mean, it's going to happen regardless, and right now, that creature is not... I wouldn't expect that creature to win me the game if I'm her. And life total is really irrelevant in this matchup. Yep, black-red land. Got it. And the reason we kind of guessed that is because he's the lightest on those colors right now in the way he's played on his lands. And it also makes sense to play this land specifically, a scry land, almost near the end, especially seeing that he was on a him I win hand. and a Grim Lava Man hand. So, the reason that we're seeing this come out last is one, due to his need for mana efficiency, and two, to find gas. Because my guess is he's probably on a more permission-heavy hand or has, like, one threat left that he doesn't want to cast into Michelle's Magic. Yeah, my better guess is he probably has, like, one or two threats that he doesn't want to risk right now, and he's looking for more counter magic, or vice versa. So we see an attack in. Cool. Michelle gonna condemn this or anything? I hope not. I hope you just let that hate you. I don't like the. All right, so here's the one thing I don't like about this attack. This gives away a lot of hidden information. Now I'm not thinking he's on counter spells anymore. I'm really not. I think he's on threats, and he doesn't want to waste his threats, and he's looking for counter magic to back it up. When he attacks like that, he's saying essentially that he does not have counter spells, or he's playing poorly. Because if he counter spells a 2 to 3 mana counter spell with 4 mana available, he can still ping for 2 at the end of the turn. That, or he wants to save up his Pyro Man for, like, creatures, but, like, he's playing Control and Control Mirror. He is currently the aggressor, the beatdown. I think what he wants to do is start pinging her head with that, because, I mean, she's not going to play a lot of relevant creatures, and when she finally does play creatures, they're going to be so big that it's going to be frankly irrelevant. I don't know if I like this. I think, like, when you see 2 cards that are Delve cards in his deck, I think maybe you save this, unless you're just really desperate to keep on getting cards at the top. We know she has threats in hand, because if you ditch Elspeth, it means you probably have other threats. Alright, so what do we see here? She's not going to tap out for a Gideon or anything, because she knows he likely is on, like, 1 counter spell. That attack, I'm not a fan of. I think you just hold it up, and if you do counter something, if she plays into it, you just burn her. Because neither player is really racing. I mean, even though he was the aggro at that point. All right, so we see a recast on this. I think if you're her, you let this happen. It's not really a game-ending card. It's just a nice incremental advantage card. And really where it shines is in, like, against the aggressive matchups. Like, White Weenie, this card is a rock star. And then Red Deck wins versus Red Deck wins is fine. And then mid-range is really where it shines. Like, you get into creature combat and then use this thing to finish something off. I don't know, Michelle. On a repulse, I think you hold that card, but I could be wrong. He's gonna be able to kill it. He's on black and red, so the red covers the artifact portion of it. So you're not gonna damage spell that thing out. And the black, unless he's on like a go for the throat, like Doomblade gets it. There's a bunch of stuff that gets it, and it looks like it's gonna be plain old countered here. But my guess would be, I'm hoping for Michelle is that she has another card very much so, like, what does he do there? Did he return a land? Very much so, like, I missed that. Counterspell, draw a card. Okay, all right. I thought he maybe returned a land, which wouldn't be that wouldn't be unreasonable. But yeah, drawing a card's right there. That's what I expect him to do. All right, what do we got? Gideon. This old fatback Gideon coming down. I think that's what it is. That's what I'm feeling. What do you got, Michelle? Sorry, guys. Okay, Mystic Confluence. Cool. I think maybe she values that more than the Torrential Gearhulk. I think you cast that first. You cast that first, suck down the counter magic, and then on your turn, cast the threat, the Torrential Gearhulk, recursing the Mystic Confluence. That way you have a 5/6 in play plus 3 additional cards. Just food for thought, Michelle, unless you just topped that. You may have topped it. But if you topped it and you didn't have a threat in hand, I don't like the casting of the Torrential Gearhulk there, period. So, I don't know. We're probably going to see a threat come down here. Something that costs less than 3 mana of what he's got available. I think he plays around... Oh, Dwarven Miner. That kind of stinks here. Frankly, I would let that happen if I were you, Michelle. He can get your 1 land if he wants to burn, 5 mana worth of... 5 mana worth of efficiency to get rid of one of your lands when you're on, like, a billion. Whatever. What do we see here? Are you thinking about Wog? I don't think you Wrath of God here. That's what you're thinking. You got to have something to do here, though. Maybe Elspeth with counter backup? Little Elspeth? Really the best one. Well, not the best one anymore. I guess the 6 mana one's better once it's resolved, but it's definitely better than the 5 mana one. I think. What are we doing here? Academy Rector? Jace, okay. Cool. I don't really like casting him into this board. He dies next turn. You're gonna have to plus him on the top. Yeah, he's gonna counter it. What does he have? Does he have a Pyroblast? Wouldn't be shocked. Condescend? I do not know. Oof, oh, it's killing me. Mixed match lands. Dissolve, okay. And then she's gonna counter this, and he has one more counter, I bet. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Alright. Well, so that ends. She's still up on cards. He is probably going to go... I don't know if he goes ham this next turn. I mean, he's going to blow up the one land after he's cast his spell, hopefully. That way he can play around. I guess, well, no, he just doesn't have Mana Leak mana. It was actual factual counter spell, so she had to tap both her blue out. Dawts loves this card, Dwarven Miner. You know, and it's a fine card. I don't think it's a card you want in your main deck, though. I think it's a sideboard card, and even then, like, I think if you're sideboarding it, like, in his deck, I understand it, but I think you have to ask yourself, I mean, like, why can't I play Blood Moon or Back to Basics or Magus the Moon? And in some cases, like this one right here, Dwarven Miner is 100% better. So he attacks in for 1. Not really putting a lot of pressure on Michelle. His Manland package really helped him to do that last time. It forced her to make a lot of decisions, I think, prematurely. All right, he's off it. He must have 2 permission spells, and he wants to blow up her land. If I'm him, I'm not feeling very good about that. Especially with her up on cards. Permission wars tend to benefit folks who have more cards in hand, although she is quite flooded, it looks like. Even after Mystic Confluencing. But I kind of attribute some of that. I mean, like, if she drew that Mystic Confluence, I get it, but, like, if she had that in hand, should cast that before she casts the Tauren Gearhulk. You cast that on end step, let him counter it. He counters it, goes down to 1 mana available. Cast Tauren Gearhulk with Daze and Force Spike protection, and Prosper off of the Mystic Confluence for spell or correction cards. All right, yep, let's go. What is she gonna do here? Is she gonna Sphinx's Rev? How greedy is she? You don't do it here, Michelle. Oh, you don't do it here. Are you gonna Sphinx's Rev? Up to 7. Ick. Don't do it. Ugh. Okay, snappy. So she's going to Mystic Confluence. If Dawts has his own, he's got the Spell Snare to grab it. I think she should know that he's on counter magic right now. I think that it's better to just wait for his end step to do this. Yeah. I think, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Oh. What happened there? That's really bad. Yeah. I think that was the wrong time to do it regardless. Yeah. He has counter magic. Like, he would have played more threats down. These are not enough threats to, like, be beating her on control. He needs more than that. Especially being down on cards. So if he has it, he's gonna play it. He has 2 counter spells, like, almost assuredly. And or like low end removal, like lightning bolts and stuff, you know. But he doesn't have like a recurring damage source in his hand. At least he did not until his draw step. We'll see what he ends up playing out here. That's a huge time beating for Michelle. But like at the same time, Michelle, I think you needed to honestly do that Mystic Confluence play, likely on his upkeep. That way you limit the spells that he has available to counter you. And you also tie up his mana so that if he does draw any significant threats, he's utilized resources in his mana and cards to counteract your spells. I don't know if this is game over though for her. She's still up on cards. They have close to have parity on mana, and like his board advantage is pretty nominal. Good game. All right. Well, I guess she didn't. She was off it. I guess. That stinks. That stinks to have it kind of end that way. All right, folks. We'll go into our own matches at this point. Let me go ahead and close this one out. And we'll go into a couple of our own. So this first one's against Johnny Rogue. We're on Blue Moon. He's on RG, Red Green Stompy. We get pretty handily battered this series. I don't think Blue Moon is per se good against Stompy. He runs a lot of basics in his build. And this deck, actively looks to exploit non-basic play. We'll go ahead and kill the Nature's Lore. We know he plays like big fellas. Like this is kind of like an in-between ramp deck, in-between mid-range deck. In this first game, we actually take down pretty well. I think his board is a lot better than ours against decks like ours. Like his deck is built to beat blue mid-range. All right, well, we're getting a challenge here. Let me go ahead and pause this, and we'll go ahead and play this challenge out live. Why not? What do we feel like right now? I kind of feel like, you guys feel like some 5-color Reanimator? Or, what do we think? Huh. What am I thinking? Could do Boros Wildfire. Let's do Boros Wildfire. Why not? I don't know. This deck has not been performed well for me, or I don't know, or other folks' decks have performed very well for them. I've only played like 3 matches with it. It's 2-2. Yeah, this is a keep. This is a good hand. So it really what makes it good. Oh, she's gonna try to burn us out. Okay, cool. I don't think she realizes we're not on Storm anymore. Yeah, so we're gonna lightning bolt that thing after we tithe. Let's tell our opponent have fun. Okie doke. And I think we hold up the lightning bolt after we do this to see if she'll pump or play a better threat. Rift bolt, whatever. So Johnny is going to do some significant work for us here. I think we want this and this. Then again, I'm going to be discarding as it is. So disregard my last. Let's just burn this silly thing off. Please play out a non-Boros Reckoner 3 toughness 3 power. Not this turn. Burn me out this turn. Just like hit me with some spells, Michelle. Okay, that guy's gonna get big. We can still get him though. Alright, so. Oh. Huh. Huh. Yeah, let's salvage the damage. So we're down to 14. We have an Ajani in hand, putting us virtual 17. We're going to lose life this turn. She'll play a haste dude or something out. What do we get this turn? We get a cough? Oof, that's not good. We're going to tie our mana up. Then we're going to cast Coalition Relic more than likely next turn. She can activate this silly thing, but it's never going to get untapped, and she won't get any counters on her Shrine. She activate it? Or does she attempt to burn out the Ajani? Okay. So my crystal ball tells me we're probably going to be... Alright, well, our Ajani's dead. But at the same time, we do get to Wog her board off. Which kind of stinks. I mean, we didn't get to gain the life, but whatever. The best of the best right now would probably be an Ageddon effect. Luckily, our board is, like, great against this deck. Like, we may lose this one because we're just getting beat down pretty handily. I think what we do is play this out to hold back the Gitu encampment. And then next turn, we'll kind of play it by ear. We got to gain some life somehow. What are we doing here? We getting Flame Javelin? No, we're getting Molten Arraigned. Okay. Well, we got lands for days. I'm kind of hoping to hit an Armageddon here. Let's take her off. There we go. She's on 7. Well, like any spell kills us here. So we're probably dead. We're probably dead. Hmm. 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 Huh. Well, here. Let's do this. Force her to shoot us in the face with this thing. Okay. Do you have burn? I don't think the play was Ugin there. I just don't. We're probably gonna get burned out here like fireball or something silly. Blistering fire cat, who knows? We're likely dead. Yeah, we die. I don't think this is a matchup we are unfavored in at all. I don't like that card in red deck wins either. I mean, it served her well there, but I mean, unless you're like a mana heavy version, but like the version she's running right now is not does not appear like it should be mana heavy. Banefire is a mid range card. Okay. What do we want here? We want Sphere of Law. Get in there. We want Top Red, Warmth, Core Firewalker. That should do it. What don't we want? We don't want Sundering Titan. That thing's a chunk of crap. Um, Ugin? No. Too slow. Blood Moon? Definitely not. The Gettins, I think, are still fine. What do we cut? Do we cut? Huh. Possibly Ravages? Yeah, we'll just stick to the fire effects. I think that's good. Moat need to go in there. No, Moat I don't like as much in this matchup. I like it more than Humility. Moat's better than Humility. Alright, let's go for it. Limited resources, definitely not. That's a control. It's a control mirror deck card. This really is as hard as a control deck. I mean, it's control prison. Um, what this deck really is, and you've seen it once or twice before, is a wildfire control deck. It just uses a lot of artifact rocks to ramp your mana, and then eventually, you pop a destructive force or decree of annihilation, and wreck like 4 of your lands and like 6 or 7 of theirs. Or you can go real big and like go, I believe, obliterations at the very top. Oh no, we cut obliteration. So, but decree of annihilation is essentially this is the same thing. It's just uncounterable. Um, well, I guess both are uncounterable, but this one can be cast for 7 mana as opposed to like 10 or whatever they both are. Yeah, I definitely wish I was in the Storm. I love playing that deck. This deck is meh. I think this deck is good. I think it's powerful. I just don't. It's not as fun for me to play. Um, I mean, like how many 29 land decks can you play in this format and have work? You know. All right, let's see how we do this time. I think our board is significant against this matchup. So, do we want this? I think we mull this. Yeah, I think we keep this. Let's bottom that. We are gonna play this out first. If she wants to wasteland us, that's cool. We'll draw a land at some point. Then we've got the Grim. I would like to be able to cool. We'll just go for 1 here. We'll be alright with 1. Yeah, we'll get Plateau. She wants to Blood Moon us. That's cool. Hey, there's our friend. Good luck, Michelle. May God's love be with you. This card is so unfair. Against red deck wins. I mean, like, she could have an Anarchy, but I mean, like, come on. Like, this thing's just like, come on, guys. Like, how can I win? Alright, well, she's got a Mishra's Factory. That's a good start. I don't think that thing's going to stand up well to a Winter Orb, though. She'll pump her thing to a 2/2. Which may cause us to play the Winter Orb. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what we draw. Hopefully we draw a rock. If we draw a rock, that's great. That way we can cast out the Grim Monolith as well. I'm certainly not going to Council's Judgment here. As I said to you before, I do not want to enter the Chainsaw Massacre and have to hit the lottery in games 2 and 3. Desperately hope. We're talking about what I was just talking about. She's like, God damn it. Like, they become the punching bags and sundry, all in sundry. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is not. It's gonna be uphill for her. I mean, we're not heavy on lands. We have a lot of action, but I mean, like, I feel like we can get there. We do more powerful stuff than she does. Inspiring Vantage. Okay, I'll play that out. That's cool. My hope is she kind of like attacks it with her Mishra's Factory, and we just tap all her crap down and just tell her, hey, if you want to keep on doing this, go ahead. We're gonna get a burn spell with face. Oh, okay, cool. It did 1 damage to me for a whole card. I guess it did get one of mine, but I don't really need the mana at all. She's gonna crap a brick too, and she sees that we have Winter Orb in hand. You know, if we ever do get more artifact ramp. Okay, get in there for 4. At this point, oh yeah, oof, that's disgusting. Huh. I think. Why didn't she cast? Really bizarre. I think what we do here is we Winter Orb and pass it back to her. Because those are both very mana inefficient cards. I think we Winter Orb her. You know, and I don't know how she's going to win through this. She can pump her figure, but she's not going to, you know. Okay, she's going to cast something. This leaves open the option next turn of either Council's Judgmenting or casting our Warm Power Stone. We did want that Grim Monolith, but we'll be alright without it. Yeah. Sorry, Michelle. Maybe you'll get us, though. I mean, like, we don't have a lot of action in hand. We're just kind of, like, ripping and gripping them. It'd be funny if she played, like, a Zergo and, like, forced me to be mana inefficient with the Caracas right here. I doubt that'll be the play, but, okay. Untap our 1. Oh, it's Decree of Annihilation. What do you know? Alright. Let's cast on our Warm Power Stone. Pass it back. We'll eventually cycle that thing off or something. I don't know. We'll find out. She can't really cast spells profitably. She can beat on me for a bit. Oh, really? That's what we want to do. Okay, cool. Okay, she didn't want to do that. I guess it's a misclick. That stinks. Yeah, I don't think she wanted to do that either. I think she wanted to hit the Warm Power Stone. But I mean, like, realistically, this deck's full of rocks. Like, just going rocks. How much do I have right here? This is, what, 10 to cast? I have 6 available. We'll do this. Leave open the Caracas. Next turn, we may just blow all the lands up if we draw one. I mean, it'll slow the game down a lot for everyone, but, whatever. Maybe she'll play on a Sulfuric Vortex and we'll just, like, lose horribly. Cool. This is exactly what I want to see. This is exactly it. Like, I want her to attack me with this silly thing. And then, yep, drew it. Had it. Now we are going to cycle this silly crap off. Oh, cool. I don't think she has any possibility of winning this now. Like, almost none. She's been landlight this whole game. Now all we're doing is we're waiting to draw a threat. Like, I don't know what she's going to do against this. Could get Sacred Foundry. Let's see if she does this next turn. We may just Wildfire her again. Once she plays another threat, we'll Wildfire. We don't need to right now. I think we do go for our other white land, though. Because I don't really want to draw land anymore. I kind of want to draw a threat here. That's what's really relevant. Okay, what do we get? There we are. Ask and you shall receive. Thank you, deck. And we will do this. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. The only could be better if she like activates the Blink Moth. We're gonna Wildfire next turn, and then this game's been over for a bit. It goes back to the Vandal Blast too, though. I shouldn't have Vandal Blasted my Warm Power Stone. That was the play there. Well, sorry guys. I know as much as everyone would love to see Elspeth come into play, we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna burn. Okay. And then if we draw any land off the top, well, if we draw any white producing land off the top, we've got Elspeth with the Signet. Plus, Johnny will eventually ultimate, and then she'll, lose more lands. Not permanent. Not going to untap. Yep, concession. The game just froze. Probably means she just conceded. Yeah. Okay. To the board. And anything else you want to do? Nope. Let's jam it. Yeah, this deck is miserable. I think where it's good is in a matchup like this. Like, you see we got run over the first game, but sometimes it happens. Sometimes red deck just does win. We didn't really have an especially fast draw, which this deck is prone to get a lot of like fast draws, like fast to like turn 4 and 5, like not fast on turn 1, but like it progresses from turn 2 and 3 to 4 and 5 very rapidly due to the artifact mana in it. And really, there just isn't the right kind of artifact mana to do. The rapid turn 1 to 2 jumps to turn. Come on, you. Oh yeah, this is great. This is a great hand. So we have Academy Rector. Unless we get Goblin. All right, we can get burned the first turn. Cool. Cool, dude. Now, if we draw any land in the next 2 turns, we can do this even a turn faster. She probably has Smash here. Which one do I want blown up the least? Or I want blown up the most? Probably this one. Do that one. It's got green mana. I guess so does Celestia Signet, but whatever. Smash Smithereens? You got it? You do, don't you? I know you got it. Now you're gonna burn me? Okay. Just rapid fire burn. What do we got? Okay. All right. Debating. We may go Gideon next turn. We really wanted that land. We didn't hit it. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna get beat on horrendously. She doesn't have artifact damage right now, does she? Screw it. Let's just jam this thing. Let's just jam this skull. Whatever. Another whatever, but I don't think she has it. She would have blown up one of those artifacts. Like I don't. Maybe not. I feel like sometimes Michelle's greedy like that, and she would have done it. If we get Vandal Blasted, we do. But if we get Vandal Blasted or Smash would be the absolute worst. Or like now Confluence. Like that would just be a horrendous beating. We may die this turn if she casts a Confluence. Confluence Fire Blast is a win. Can she burn us out? She's gonna burn the token out. Funny. That's totally cool though. I mean, yeah, we'll get hit for a little more. We're low. I'm debating on just like casting out. Oh wait, I can do Academy Rector. That's funny. This is 3. 1 burn spell to win it. 1 burn spell to win it. Fire Blast? You had it if you had it. I think that's what just happened. I can't hear anything. I'm pretty sure I just lost. Yeah, that's a hell of a draw. So, yeah, we don't win that one, but I think we were definitely favored. You have Fire Blast into all that. Good job. You got there. Let's tell our opponent good games. So that was a pretty cool match against Michelle. And sometimes red deck wins just get there. But that draw was exceptional. I don't think in any way I think if she had to pass it back, probably not. But sometimes it happens, and you lose to it. Let's see what players are willing to take red deck wins to the Chainsaw Massacre tournament. I wouldn't go that far. The problem with red deck wins is we're explaining to her because so the biggest deal. This is exactly like what I was trying to come off to say. Before you don't need to count Batter Skull and Sword Blow because once you die, it's tracking. Now what? Not what I'm getting after though. More so, it's a commentary on the deck. That's kind of what I was trying to get across. Is like the problem I have with that deck is when it's good, it's great. It's great, but and there is skill in playing it. Most of it comes down to sequencing and timing of spells. Um, I think. Oh, yeah, she's making it funny, I think. Yeah, we have stank it up with Grixis control. That deck's just not as good as us per control. Um, anyway, so I'm gonna jump back into some of our replays here, guys. We'll quit BSing because I'm sure you don't want to watch that. So we're on Blue Moon here. Jumping back, we've got a fetch land, a Jason play that's active. He recast a birthing pod that we memory lapsed back on the top of his library. We complicated this point in time. I believe drawing into an additional land, if I'm not mistaken. No, kind of send. Get an additional land off the top. That's how I end up sequencing. This first game's pretty much over. I'm not worried at all about this. I see Scavenging Ooze. I go ahead and Factor Fiction because I'd rather have the availability of 5 cards as opposed to stopping that silly thing. He concedes it here. It's a stacked hand. We go to game 2, and like I said, I don't think I'm favored in this matchup. So game 2, yeah, we ditched that. We left the back to basics in. We took out the 2 moon effects though, because they're just god awful. We end up going ahead and leaving up Lightning Bolt. We don't cast our Brainstorm yet. We're kind of just waiting to see what he's up to. Wood Elves, we're going to go ahead and miscalc that. They ramps him 1. I'm not really worried about the body on it. But he plays like a bunch of like weird cards like Erratic Portal and stuff like that to like bounce critters back. I don't want to give him like infinite value off it. We see a Lotus Cobra. We go ahead and Brainstorm, acting like we're going to counter it. We're not. But actually, no, correction. We did not intend on doing so. We end up finding Remand, and we're like, let's buy ourselves a turn with this thing. You know, let's keep on looking, or force him to recast it for no value, and he does. We bolted on our turn, I believe, get rid of one of his lands. Yeah, so we take him back down to 3 mana. He ends up playing a choke. That's game. We'll let it play out, but he just beats us to death because we can't do anything. And either topped well or well played by the opponent, but he got us. I'm just gonna do dawts now. Sure. All right, well, we're going to stop this again. Well, this is not really a great game, though. We're just getting beat because we have a choke in play. All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and challenge dawts. Challenge player. She wants to see Allure and Elf Ball. Okay. We'll play Allure and Elf Ball out. You'll actually see another match of this. Maybe we'll cut this one short and not watch the replays. We'll just play live. Let's see if dawts is available. Hopefully he runs that 4-color blood deck. I like that matchup against elves. Grixis, a lot less so. All right. Alrighty. Oh yeah, jamming it. This hand is awesome. It'd only be better if I was on the play. Keep. Hopefully he plays a fetch land, and then that'll make Deathrite a thing. Nope. Okay, he's going to keep burn up. He probably knows the matchup, would be my guess. We'll play Elves of Deep Shadow first. And then... Oof. Let's play this. Elves of Deep Shadow. This is nice. We have, like, infinite mana. This is like probably a turn 4 kill, actually. I'm getting excited about this. I hope my crap doesn't get burned off. Okie doke. Huh. Huh. Good luck, you two. Okay. Do you have a counter spell? Yeah, probably. Huh. Yeah. Let's cast this silly thing out. Force him to counter it. That way he can't burn crap away. He's gonna have a lot less sweepers. He'll have like lightning bolts and stuff like that. See if he wants to counter it. He probably will. Maybe not. Yeah, okay. He's gonna counter it. Get it. Or even better, burn off my... There we go. That is what we wanted to see. We still have a land in hand, so that takes up to 4 mana next turn. we can go ahead. Actually, well, any fetch land also gives us up a 5 mana next turn. Alright, he's not going to do that for us. Go ahead and counter it. Hmm. Hmm. You gonna burn up my priest? Or does he counter the Eldmari Lord of Leaves? Because I'll make 3 mana next turn. He's got a counter. What do you have? Gonna burn off my priest? It's fine too. Cool. Hmm. He may have a Vendilion click. If he does, cool. You gonna burn off the Eldmari? That's cool too. I don't mind that at all. Yeah, that's cool. He may have 2, and he wanted to like burn that off now and then burn off the Priest of Titania like on my next turn, or well, no, it has to be on his turn. He doesn't want to give me that mana, I don't think. Or he's got a counter spell and he feels confident he can get it countered. I mean, it could be up to Cryptic Command. He has Cryptic Command mana up with the Filter Land. The real play we wanted to make was the Fauna Shaman, because I mean we can make infinite mana, but like I knew he was on something. It's silly not to assume he is, or to assume he's not. Okay, I think what we do here is throw this thing in play. He may burn something off. We'll see. We shall see. Okie doke. Throw this fat back in play. We get a counter there? We gonna sauce a counter out? I hope we do, because I want that Fauna Shaman. The Fauna Shaman is what I really want to resolve. And like, anytime I land a threat now, like, well, for the most part, I was gonna make another insect, a 1/1 off the Wirewood Hive Master. It also plays into what my end game is right now, which is to get this Fauna Shaman down, have it pass for a turn, and then get a Crater Hoof Behemoth. What's he gonna kill? What does he get here? Yeah, it's fine. Cool, dude. Does he counter this thing? Huh. Evidently not. Does he get that to fight off the Gaia's Cradle? Yeah, he's gonna get that. That's cool. I got enough mana though. Or he kills something maybe. Who knows? We'll see. Is this a remand? Okay, condescend. Is there any lands? Nope. Cool. You got it. I still like our position outside of a Wrath. Like if he gets a Wrath, he's low on cards. Like he had kept that permission heavy hand. This is like 1-for-1 removal is not what you want to be against elves. You want to be against our mass removal, which is one of the problems that Grixis is going to have against this style of deck over an Esper control style deck, because it runs more 1-to-1, 1-for-1 removal swaps, whereas this deck just runs, so many creatures that like 1-for-1 removal is not per se good. Now if he has an answer to Fauna Shaman, that's going to be bad. Then we're just hitting our top deck. But I mean we have a ton of mana. If we see something like horrible like Marsh Casualties, then we just like lose, or like what is it, Massacre, Toxic Deluge. Like, those cards are all just wretched. Because then we're at 3 lands and, like, nothing going on. We'll see. And that's kind of one of the risks you run with a deck like this is, you know, it's fine. Tassiger, whatever. Not too super worried about it. Hopefully we don't get removal as well. Dwarven Blast Miner? Yeah, whatever. Irrelevance. So if I hit a creature off the top, I'm pretty sure I'm going wheels up this turn. Oh yeah. And it rains, boys. It rains. And it rains. And it rains. Alright. So, against the Seed Time needs to come out. That card's hilarious, but it doesn't need to be in the deck. City of Solitude. That's coming in. Carpet of Flowers? Yeah. It's a 3-color deck. Choke. Alarm's kind of funny. Let's take that out. Let's take the Cloudstone out. Put in the Choke. Just some mean cards. Carpet Flower's interesting. Tsunami. It's not like that blue, though. Yeah, let's run it. Let's jam it. I like the Whitewater Choke. Trolling max. This deck I made just kind of like to be funny. And it actually ended up being like pretty darn good. Like the deck can do like something like 34 million damage on like the 4th or 5th turn. And that's really it's through an infinite combo. You draw the whole deck when you do it. It's Cloudstone Curio Learn. This deck has has the ability to make everything have haste. And you get up to like 160 creatures and like recast your Craterhoof Behemoth like 20 times. And that's about what it does. Is this hand worth keeping? Yes. Yes, it is. This hand is awesome. Really, we're looking at the Summoner's Pact. We wouldn't mind saucing a land off the top so that we're not fragile like single removal spells. Okay. Mental Misstep? Nope. Land off the top would still be good. We go Civic Wayfinder. Yeah, Civic Wayfinder if that was the case. No him. Awesome. Let's see if we can get him to sauce this. Yes, we can. Do we risk it? I think we do. There's no days open. F it. Let's go for it. No guts, no glory, right? Yeah. Burn a creature off. I think what you need to be doing is countering our. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know everything. And he's gonna burn one of our dudes off. It's fine. Go ahead. That was the worst possible. We can get to one more forest. I think next turn, if we don't hit a forest, we go Summoner's Pact, get Dryad Arbor. I mean, he just drew the best possible off the Ponder. Plus he fixed his mana that turn. So, it happens. Hopefully taps down for something stupid like, yeah, that. It's fine. Yeah, I don't know if we can Summoner's Pact, actually. I mean, that's... puts us dead. Huh. Huh. F it, let's go for it. We're going to lose either way. I think if we let him keep on going, we're going to lose either way. So... I think we go Dry Arbor here. Wait, is there a better, like, one-mana option? No, there's really not, is there? Alright, so... Dry Arbor. If he kills either of these, we just lose. That's fine. Because we're not going to win either way. Like, that's kind of what our logic is. I don't like it, but I mean... there's a lot of things I don't like. We're getting ready to concede here. Yep, concede. Done. And we kind of knew that was coming, but we weren't winning that one anyways. Not on that draw. Just too bad. That's some good hate cards, though, but I think we can get them. His deck involves a lot of accrual negative tempo. This deck can kill on turn 2 and 3. On the play, that hand becomes infinitely better. So, you know, at least we did win the draw. Skippable? Nope. Yep. City of Solitude is going to wreck the crap out of him. It's kind of my logic. Nope, no land. Well, we're probably losing from here. He has like 2 one-man answers in hand. We're probably going to lose. We need to hit land from this point. If we can, good. Not, we may lose. It's a good pull. They get countered. Who knows, though? I don't even have 3 elves in play. I mean, he should know, though, that I can fairly rapidly build up elves, like, once it goes in my favor. He's going to sit back on counter magic at this point. We'll play this out. So if you knew what we're going to do is, we're going to end up doing is, we're going to try to play our Sylvan Ranger next turn and get up on mana. Eventually, you get City of Solitude down to protect a Garrick play. We're attacking this turn. It also gives like Wasteland protection, which is cool. Gonna burn off the clearing. Okay. A lot of burn in his deck. Do we have an attack here? Nope. That's fine. Well, if we always brick on lands, we're just going to lose, though. Yeah. Looking like this game may be over. This deck can easily beat a Batter Skull, but I really needed that turn to resolve like a bunch of crap. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not blocking that thing. Oh. Yep. Alrighty. That deck, Elves actually, I think, has a tough time with anything that can fastly react to it. Obviously, and, you know, we had a bad draw. The third game, it just wasn't very favorable for us. Let's see. Oh, she's gone. Alrighty. Well, let's get back to the games that we actually intended on initially commenting on. So we're choked here. The game goes on for a bit. We eventually lose. We get a true name. We just had to play it out, you know. Who knows? It may get there. It's not going to. Against Red Green Stompy, it's not. We pretty much know it. Especially with him drawing extra cards every turn off Dustwatch Recruiter. We attack in just to get some damage in to see if we can maybe like hopefully get like a weird like mountain, you know, I don't know, Splinter Twin draw. And we get a Garrick, makes a beast. Yeah, we're getting outraged here. And that's pretty much a game. That kind of goes. Okay, so we end up losing that one. Let's go back to our games. And then game 3, It's a better game than that. It's not a choke game, but we still lose. We kind of just failed to draw gas in this one. So, yeah, fine, promising hand. We do have a Flame Slash for any early aggression. We have Force of Will for anything broken. We have Exclude, which will make a good like mid-range play, and then we have a Mystic Confluence and Shackles. And he's in a creature-based deck, so Shackles I assume is pretty good. Given red and green can do pretty good things against artifacts. So we see Miss Investments here. We just go ahead and exclude that, drawing our card. Believe getting another land. Yep. We're kind of just buying time for the Ancestral Visions and to get to our Mystic Confluence. We go ahead and cast on the Shackles here. Our thinking is we can't reasonably hold up any of our counter magic outside of Force of Will. We don't force that thing. Maybe it was a mistake. Our thing's very good with like enters the battlefield, affects creatures. You know, but it's such a huge investment, like for one card. Now we do get rid of this. We missed a Confluence this thing. Drawing 2, not bad, but not really action either. I need action at this point. I believe we go into a Venser, the Sojourner, or Venser, Shaper Savant, rather. At this point, yeah, we go ahead and discard our Arid Mesa, keep up Venser. We do have the Riptide Laboratory, which is a good combo with Venser. We can start, like, taking her off mana. So we go ahead and get rid of the Treetop. She goes and she activates it. We knew she would do this. She Erratic Portals it, putting it back in her hand, tapping her down on mana, and then we go ahead and Venser, I believe, her Blood Crypt. Just to keep her off land at this point. We're trying to just really kind of accrue tempo, because we don't have a lot of action. Like, we have a lot of, like, counter magic, but not a lot of action. And, I mean, as you'll see, like, we want to still leave up our counter magic as well. We see a Reclamation Sage. We go ahead and we counter this. At that point, Red Elemental Blast, then we Force of Will. Maybe that was wrong because of the Erratic Portal. The Erratic Portal can still get rid of cards that come into play, but we kind of want Shackles. I'm just like, I'm thinking in my head, maybe I should value Shackles. And then we kind of go into like the Venser bounce mode, where we just keep her on, or him rather, on 5 mana. Yeah, we go ahead and get rid of that thing with Flame Slash. Well, he's tapped down for Erratic Portal. All right, Huntmaster of the Fells. This isn't good. You know, our kind of like tempo sub-theme is kind of going to be battered by this thing. So we go ahead and bounce it back to hand. And then a Fire Imp comes down. This is where the game turns. Like that's a beating right there. Because we're kind of hoping on Venser to keep the tempo up for us. And when he gets it with the Fire Imp, we're just like, yeah, we're probably losing now. We get another Huntmaster down. Back to basics, taking him off 2 lands, which, we go ahead and Electrolyze. Probably should have done it to his face, but at this point, like, we're pretty sure we're losing, so we just cast it. I mean, it should have been face so we could have drawn the card, but I mean, we're not going to burn him out at this point with a Huntmaster flipping back and forth. Because we're already hell-bent. We can't really maximize the use of our lands. We go ahead and hit the Huntmaster, I believe, again, or correction, the 2/1, the Fire Imp. Because if you cast the Fire Imp, it has to hit another creature. We see Xenagos, and that spells our doom. Draw Kiki, cast it out, die. Okie doke. So, next game against Johnny Rogue was, I believe, RG Stompy. Johnny's playing, and then we're playing 5-color Reanimator. So, strong hand here. We go ahead and cast out a turn 1 Deathrite, leaving the fetch land in hand so that we can kind of hide that information about what we intend on doing. Leave the Deathrite back. It gives us the option, if he targets it, to use the Elmeri's Call. But what we really want to do is go to 4 mana next turn and cast the Academy Rector, which we end up doing. We cast the Academy Rector out, stopping any of his attacks in, and he's on red-green, so he doesn't probably likely have a lot, or he's not likely to have a lot of exiling effects. What we end up doing at this point is going for a Grim Tutor, a Personal Tutor. What I believe we end up getting was Diabolic Intent. What this will allow us to do is sacrifice the Academy Rector, putting Omniscience into play, and finding Emrakul, which will give us a Time Walk turn, where we can attack with Emrakul and destroy everything on his board. We also have the Elmeri's Call, which will find Gristlebrand, which will draw a bunch of cards and just put a bunch of silly stuff into play. Basically, the game's won, to stop explaining it, because it's nonsense at this point. If you don't stop this before it happens, the person doing it wins. And I think what he was thinking here, because he ends up casting a Worldly Tutor, is that I think he's thinking he can And what he gets with it is a Zealous Conscript. I think he's thinking that he gets going to get the turn pass back to him. And while we did cheat Emrakul into play in a lot of ways, Omniscience technically counts as casting it, so we do have the extra turn. So that's it. That's what this first game against 5-color Reanimator looks like. Second game's a lot slower, a little less explosive than that, more attritional. So we look at this hand, great hand. So our plan is we're going to go for a turn 1 Thoughtseize just to make sure there's no like scavenging ooze or anything silly in his hand that's going to just beat us. There's not. We get rid of the Dust Watch, that helps him find it the best. We're not as worried about that land, the land killer, the Dwarven Blast Miner. We'll go ahead and dismember that on our turn after finding our Dryad Arbor with the Green Sun Zenith. We get rid of that thing, pass it back. We see the Fierce Empath come out getting Primeval Titan, which just wins games. We get a Diabolic Intent, which is good. That's going to allow us to sacrifice off the Dryad Arbor, finding Emrakul. And then our plan is next turn, because we have a Shallow Grave, which is an instant speed reanimation effect, is that we can go ahead and Cathartic Reunion, drawing an additional card, or rather cycling 2 cards off and getting basically cycling our cards. And then we can cast Shallow Grave, putting Emrakul back into play. We draw a pretty spicy 3. And we wipe his entire board. It's not going to kill him, no. It's going to take him off all his land and wipe his board. And exile Emrakul, which is important because that's, now a gone resource from the deck. We go ahead and cast out the Jace here. And I believe in a couple turns we have a misplay with the Jace. I think we had no Lightning Axe. Okay, we ditched the land. We don't need the land at this point. This deck doesn't need a ton of lands, just needs the right ones. I believe we have Magus of the Moon come down. So, like, Johnny's making a pretty good run of it getting back. But we have the Lightning Axe, which, we're glad we obviously kept. Yeah, we make a mistake here. So we should have tapped that blue land that was, at the time, a red land. We should have left that open and used our Tectonic Edge to do that. So that we could cast Frantic Search last turn and see if we could, like, tie up the game sooner. We had Frantic Search, ditch everything but the Exhume. Go ahead and pass it back. We have +1 to the Jace, Telepath Unbound. We go ahead and draw a Grim Tutor. We're short mana to get it in the graveyard this turn. So what we end up doing is we go ahead and just get it in the we're not short mana to get it in the graveyard. We're short mana to get it in the graveyard plus reanimate it. So we go ahead and Collective Brutality after having gone down to 4, back up to 6, which puts us out of the range of most of like red-green's burn, putting a Sphinx of the Steel Wind from our board into the graveyard. And the next turn we'll be exhuming the Sphinx of the Steel Wind, and likely Johnny will be getting back. I don't even know what he can get. Like, any of these cards are terrible against Sphinx of the Steel Wind. Sphinx of the Steel Wind will just beat it. Because basically everything in his deck can't target it. So, outside of like maybe like a sword, if he played like Ancient Tomb Sword and equipped and attacked, that may do it. Okay, so that was the match of 5-color Reanimator versus Johnny Rogue Stompy. The next game we have is one of our gauntlet matches against Michelle Wong. I believe in this one we are on Storm. This is our Storm matchup. So his opening hand's great. The only way it'd be better is if the swamp was like an Underground Sea or a Volk Island or something like that. Really, Underground Sea would be the best. See Nature's Lore. She's on 5-color Planeswalker. We both know what each other's on at this point. We go ahead and find an island. Like I said, most of the times we can trip, we're finding islands. We have to leave our mana up. We're not going to cast anything this turn. We see a Sylvan, not Sylvan, Caravan Caryatid. We go ahead and pass it back, planning on casting Mystical Teachings. Our thought is that we want to get High Tide. See, the Academy Rector, always a scary card, but we don't really like wrath boards or kill creatures. We just, we kind of dirtle until we win. Cast See Beyond, find Strategic Planning, save that one in hand and then duress her, taking away the Sylvan Scrying, because what I don't want to do is use Sylvan Scrying to find Phyrexian Tower, sacrificing the Academy Rector to make 2 black mana. I don't know what she has in her deck that way, but, what does she get with this? It doesn't really matter what she got, because we don't have any intention of passing the turn back to her. She got to Bring to Light. She's going to use Bring to Light to get like a Planeswalker or something. We go ahead and turn about. She properly wastelands our volcanic island that we found. We go ahead and Diabolic Intent, cast Cabal Ritual, find the Lotus Petal with one of the tutors, and then end up casting, I believe, Past in Flames to generate Storm Count off of what we have remaining, and go for a perfect Xaxes on Storm Count for 10. Or it may not have been perfect. She may have already been down to 17 life or something like that. But Yeah, no, we could have gone bigger than this. If we wanted to, we would have cast the Turnabout for 1 less mana, while we still had the Nightmare or the Nightscape familiar in play, and then cast the Cabal Ritual second. That would have produced more mana and allowed us to cast more spells in our graveyard. But we just do it the most efficient way we can. Okay, so game 2 against Michelle. This is a great hand. So all I need for this to work is lands. I hit one off the top in the very beginning. And we go ahead and play that out. Manamorphose to make black and blue to cast out our Nightscape Familiar and also get deeper in the deck. We find an additional land. We plan on keeping that one because our black mana is going to be very important to us this game. Find a Telling Time, cast that. Keep the Dark Ritual, put the Seething Song on top, ditch the Penthead Prism. At this point, Elsbeth, whatever, irrelevant. We don't care. I mean, it's a great card, but we don't care. It's going to take like 2 or 3 turns to kill us. Like, we plan on winning like this turn. Cast the Dark Ritual, cast the Snapcaster, recast Dark Ritual, Diabolic Intent, go ahead and Cabal Ritual, Seething Song, search for Dark Petition, tutor again, find Lotus Petal, cast Lotus Petal, and then Tendrils of Agony for exactly lethal on turn 4. That's the game. So this deck's come a long ways. I'm very happy with where it's at right now, and it manages to take down the game against a 5-color Planeswalker value deck. Michelle wanted to play out the red deck wins matchup versus this deck, versus the Storm deck, rather. I told her I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's bad. I think our board plan really helps out against it. And, you know, one of the matches we've lost with this, the only matchup we've lost with this current build, it was red deck wins, but it was a pretty ridiculous draw. And it involved Fire Blast, kind of like we just saw. Like, Fire Blast is a ridiculous card. Anything that lets you do something for no mana is just generally, you know, or utilizes an alternate resource like sacrificing something. It's just it's efficiency. It allows you to operate outside of the expectations of a turn cycle. We ditched the pedal there for the Thirst. We're just getting beat up on, but we're like fine with it. It's like, okay, you know, we know you're not in blast range because you don't have 2 mountains. Her hand's probably very strong though because, like, you know, 1, she's got all gas, and 2, she kept it on a land light draw that she couldn't cast a lot on, so it's probably a high power level. We ditch the Chrome Mox here. No, we keep it. I'm sorry. We keep it for Storm Count. Plays on a Goros Chainwalker. We're like, oh, we got this. Like, she can't do anything from here. She can't cast any spells on 0 mana without 2 mountains. So we start casting out our nonsense spells, our mana making spells, our Desperate Rituals. We Dark Petition, finding another tutor if I'm not mistaken. Fetch with our Wooded Foothills, going down to, I believe, eventually 2 life. Tainted Pact. We end up keeping, I believe, a Snap. Yep. Snap that guy back, recast him, costs no mana to do this, and then play out the Tendrils for exactly lethal. Correction. Sacrifice the Wizard that we have in play by using our Cabal Ritual, and then cast Tendrils for exactly lethal. Or 2 over lethal. So I guess we didn't have to do the Cabal Ritual. Or Cabal Therapy, rather. So we could take down the first game against Red Deck wins. I mean, obviously our life total went very low, but we took, like, you know, half that damage in 1 turn with a Steam Vents. So playing a fetch land, 2 damage. Sacking fetch land, finding Steam Vents, 2 damage. Choosing to leave it untapped, 2 damage, 6 damage. So we took 6 damage the last turn. Fetching into a pain land is not great against Ankh of Mishra. So game 2, we put in the board plan. If you're not familiar with the board plan, you'll see in a second. It's like Blue Elemental Blast, Flash Flood, Hydroblast, Madcap Experiment, and I always call him Pregnant Empyrean. What's his name? Platinum Empyrean. He's just a big old fatty. So we're going to have a turn 3 Platinum Empyrean here. Madcap Experiment, if you're not familiar with it, you cast it. It goes through your deck until it hits an artifact, and then it puts it into play for free. But you take X damage, where X is the number of cards that it went through to get there. What Platinum Imperium basically says is, Red Deck wins. If you don't have artifact removal right now, you lose. Like, that's game. And she doesn't have it in hand. This thing buys us a whole bunch of time. One non-bow with this guy, though, and it's kind of funny, is, like, you can't use fetch lands with him. So what we find ends up happening is, like, we get choked on red mana. Like, if we had 1 red mana at a lot of points in this game, like, a lot sooner than the game ends, we would have just won it. We would have just, like, gone and won. And we kind of joke with her, like, hey, why don't you guys Blood Moon? And I don't think she realized that, like, if she had, it would have been far better for us. Like, we kind of wanted her to. Because we have the Manamorphose, we can fix black. What we can't fix right now is red. So that mana is awesome. I'm obviously not attacking, because, I mean, she's got a 3/3 Boros Reckoner that, like, whenever it gets hit, it does that much damage back to whatever. So it would kill the Platinum Empyrean. in a fight. Because Platinum Imperium does not have trample, yep. So we're just ripping through the deck. We see a nonsense hand. Zergo and like a fetch land, I think she is, what she has in hand. Play out Bob. Bob is great with Platinum Imperium. Like, you just draw cards. Doesn't matter what they are. You don't take damage because your life doesn't change. You got to snap to protect our stuff. Find a Cloud of Fae, and you can see like our fetch lands are just sticking around. They're just hanging out. I think we finally find. No, we don't. It's not for a while. Like, we still don't find a land that we need. We find a Sea Beyond, a Ponder, and a Gataxian Probe. Yeah, our next draw should be Get Probe and then Ponder. Yep. We go ahead and Sea Beyond. Throw that land in play. Telling time. Find the Steam Vents, and we put the Steam Vents on top, so we can't like. I don't know. There's no red deck discard. We're not really in a rush though either. I mean, like, there's no hurry here. I mean, like, even if she removes the Platinum Imperium, like, I can block with my Bob, block with my Augur. I don't really care about them, like, it doesn't really matter if she kills them or if they have to block. Because I mean, I have this game won as soon as the Imperium's off the board. So she misplays a little bit here. She casts the Stoke of Flames on the Platinum Imperium. She meant to tap 2 of her guys to do that, and then cast, I believe, a kicked. What is it called? Fire Strike. I can't remember the name of the card. You see it in her hand. It's Burst Lightning. Burst Lightning was in her hand. So she just mistapped there. She wanted to use the combo mechanic off the Stoke to do what she did. I let her attack me and hit me for no damage. All right, so our mana's fixed now, and we go ham. Manamorphose. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to win when you have this many cards, this big of a graveyard, and you have Past in Flames in your graveyard, plus this much mana. It's just ridiculous. I could even consider sacrificing the Platinum Imperium there, just so I can get more lands for turnabouts, but it's not necessary. I think what happens is we lose track of what our life total was, and we storm hunt a lot higher than we had to. I mean, we have storm count right now. I don't know why we're building it up. Yeah, I think we finally realized, oh crap, we went way too far. Sometimes it's fun to go ham on this stuff, but I mean, I try not to. It's just this time we accidentally did. Turnabout. Yeah, hopefully we just cast it here. Yeah, okay, good. We didn't go too ham, but we obviously went a little more ham than we needed to. I mean, it'd be a 38 damage stack of tendrils, so that was that game. Platinum Imperium, definitely an MVP, as well as the Madcap Experiment. Our last game against Michelle, we are on White-Red Boros, Wildfire. She wants to play Red Deck Wins again, so we do. Or I think she assumes we'll be on Storm again, and she wants to see how the matchup goes. I think that Storm deck actually is good against this deck. I think it can be faster, actually. I mean, obviously it's a higher variance deck than Red Deck Wins is, but I think it's also a lot more powerful. We tithe, make our lands, burn that thing out, get Rift Bolted, see this thing come out. We get a Pyroclasm, we burn it out. That's what ends up winning her this game. So Shrine of Burning Rage is a busted card. I mean, like, the games where you have Shrine, the cards that really make this deck great, like Shrine of Burning Rage, I can think of Sulfuric Vortex, Cough, and like outside of that, and like Fire Blast. Those are like some of the better cards in this deck, and like some of the efficient like 1-drop creatures. But like Shrine of Burning Rage is a beating because it's just like not the type of permanent you expect to deal with in Red Deck Wins, but it's just so efficient, and it's also harder to remove. Although it is kind of fun to stifle every once in a while if you're playing blue. That kind of spells our doom in this game. I think if we'd just been facing mono red, like just dummy creatures, it would have been fine. But we go ahead and Banishing Light this. We get burned. We're down to 3. We cast out our Academy Rector afterwards, leaving the opportunity to charge our Coalition Relic so we can cast an Ugin or whatever next turn. But we don't have a lot of hopes of winning this. She tops, burns us out. That's the game. I think we get Banefire or something here. Like, yeah, I think it's Banefire. Yeah. Like, Michelle, I don't think this card belongs in this style of Red Deck Wins, to be honest. Oh, we got a challenge. Hey, why not? Let's take up the challenge. So, hey, randomly we're going to get more magic, I guess. Michelle's back on. She wants to play another game. And I guess we're playing 4-color blood. I just chose one kind of randomly. So let's see what we got. Oh yeah, this is a hand. Keep. It's actually a good hand. I like it. So we march flats for Bayou, playing out Birds of Paradise, and then next turn we play the Elvish Mystic. Yeah, so Bayou here? No. We get Savannah. Next turn we're gonna play on Sylvan Library plus. You gonna burn my birdie birds out? That's fine. Oh no, you're not. That's not good for you. I don't know why she's on red deck wins again. She hates this deck. It's funny to me that she's playing it. I think we Sylvan Library. The reason being I want to set up a turn with Blood Braid Elf. I want to really like filter the top of my deck. Yeah, we'll take it like champs. I bet you she's thinking, oh, a bunch of one drops. This is a beating. And this is one thing I cannot stand about this card, guys. Oh, or it's my stops. I'm just like terrible. I like having all the stops. I don't know. Blood Braid into Kitchen Finks. Oh yes. Well, yes, I would love to cast that. Seems good. I will block that thing in a heartbeat. Thrown the last roll. Yeah, this deck is just such a beating. I mean, it's just a mid-range. It's like a mid-range to aggressive deck. It's just 4-color blood. I mean, 4-color blood is going to beat red deck wins almost every time. Yeah, whatever. Yep, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, she can double block with my Thrun. Yeah, whatever. It's kind of silly. That's not going to get there. Slamming away. That seems good. That seems good. This card not as much. All right, let's run it back. Yes, that doesn't have as much against red deck wins. I mean, it has the sword, which is just, I mean, probably could be in there in general, which is good. And then it has the timely reinforcements, which is it's just fine. I mean, then we could play to like make it work. I mean, I see on that last board state. I mean, you could see like we were well up on her. Well, it's gonna be a very long video. I don't even know how long we've been going. Probably like what, an hour and a half, 2 hours? Wow, an hour and 41 minutes. Yeesh. I don't know if you'll be able to watch all of this. Yep, this is a keeper. We got to hit lands off the top, but it's definitely a keeper. And I hope she doesn't burn my birds off. We'll see, though. If she does, you know, we top land. We have 2 draw steps to top land. Get Grimflayer on line. Should be okay. She's got burn. But we're champions. We top deck the land. She'll burn these birdies off more than likely with a 2 mana or 2 damage burn spell. Or if we're really unlucky, she'll like use like Searing Blood. No. Okay. Huh. Huh. We get that thing. I mean, yeah, we don't want to see like a sulfuric vortex. You know, honestly, it's fine if we do. Yeah, she gets the birds. Cool. That card is not a red deck wins card either. That's like an is it card. Bullshock Sorcerers I'm talking about. It's not really where you want to be. If we manage to continue to hit lands, I don't know if she attacks here. I think you're supposed to leave it up. Yeah, good. Well, I guess it's this guy. Yeah, this deck's good. Red would be nice here. We got Bitter Blossom too. I don't know if I want to cast that though. That probably should have come out actually. Probably shoddy boarding on our part to leave it in. It's like a black force field, I guess. Okay. This is definitely getting red. Red-green, I think. I think what we do is we go with this little guy right here. Yeah, cool. I don't really care if I trade my Tasker off with the Boros Reckoner. This is not going to be a game where I'm like using Tasker for value. I just got to beat the living crap out of her. If she wants to like trade the Boros Reckoner for damage to my face or for the Tasker or for the Bloodbraid Elf, I'm fine with that. I mean, I'm on 5 mana next turn. If I draw a 6th, I can go like a Johnny or Flame Tongue, you know, and I can play a Bitter Blossom out. She only got 1 card in hand too. I mean, 1 card in hand is not very threatening, especially with me on 18 life. I mean, this is a tough matchup. Anywhere you play in a mid-range deck that is just slightly more mid-range than you are, or I'm sorry, you're an aggro deck and you play slightly more mid-rangey deck than you're on, You're not in a good place. So obviously she's attacking with it. Yeah, cool. Get in there. Get after it. Don't know why she trade damage there. That's interesting to me. That's a lot of damage. I think what we end up doing is this. We're so ahead on board. We'll cast this thing out. We'll hit her Boros Reckoner, force her to take out our Bloodbraid Elf, or hit us for damage to get rid of the Ajani. Either way, I'm happy. She can ping it too, I guess, with the Bull Shock. Yep. Bye-bye. She'll take out Bloodbraid, my guess would be. The damage to my Brisket is just not that valuable here. You know, she's willing like 8 damage and burn. Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with that. Got a Flame Tongue to follow it up for any critter threat. If she casts something like Shrine of Burning Rage, she's not winning. That's a good sized threat. I mean, it's a 4/4. Given the problem's going to be, I have a Flame Tongue, and this deck runs a lot of removal. She gonna play another threat out? Yeah, she's gonna make it a 4/4. I think you wait to do that on my turn, but I guess this plays around like. No, it doesn't really. Like I was thinking like Swords of Plowshares. I don't know why you do this here. Just so you know you have less options in hand. Okie doke. Flame Tongue. This is basically a winnable game now. I guess I was wrong. We're gonna get value out of this guy, I think. I'll take a look at least. Well, I wouldn't want to give me any of that stuff. Probably the Sorin, maybe? I don't know. Ball Lightning. I don't know what she could draw. If either of these hit, we win. It's kind of what we're playing for. She'll activate that silly thing, kill our Flame Tongue. That's fine. Skullcrack keeps her in the game. Wait, no, it doesn't. And that's this game. All right, let's finish up here. All right, so actually no, I think we already played all these out. You guys have already seen all these matches. You didn't see this one. This is I think we're in the middle of a red white deck. You know what? But for sake of the video, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off here. So I think we're close to 2 hours. Yeah, we're like 9 minutes away from 2 hours. Okay, so we had some live play this evening as well as some recorded matches with a wide variety of decks: Four Color Blood, Storm, um, Red White, Wildfire, Elf Ball Lurin, among maybe a couple others. I can't remember. But a lot of viable archetypes you'll see in a 100 card singleton format. Very fun format, very skill intensive, very build intensive. I would offer you, if you see any of these players I've been playing, any of them will offer you games, including me, if this is a format that interests you. We just asked that beforehand you go to gatherling.com and check out the Chainsaw Massacre. If you go to the Chainsaw Massacre, it is a player-run event for this unsupported format that is run every Saturday at 3:30 or 15:30 Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. And if you go to the gatherling.com, you can register there to join this event. I also recommend that you go to the linked page there, which is on MTG Salvation, that has the ban list and rules for the game. I hope you enjoyed the videos that we put up today. It's a rather lengthy session. I don't know how it'll download, but very fun format, very skill intensive, very build intensive as well. So your creativity there generally has the ability to shine. As you saw, kind of, I don't know if you saw Michelle's commentary on the Storm deck and how it's come together very nicely. Like I've been working on the deck for like probably 4 or 5 months, and to see it come together, to see decks that you kind of like create in your mind come together and actually really start working very well, is awesome. It's very very fun. So I hope you enjoyed the video series. I hope that if you're watching this and this interests you, you guys you do join us for the Chainsaw Massacre. It's competitive. It's a free event, but you can win somewhere around 10 or 12 tickets if you do take it down. Normally it's about 10 to 15 players. I've seen as many as like 20. But very very fun format. I hope you enjoyed the videos and have a great night. Okay.